Kristina Timanovskaya asked her if she wants to fly back to Belarus. The answer, no. She'd posted this video on the social media site Telegram.
I asked the International Olympic Committee for help. I was put under pressure and they are forcibly trying to take me out of the country without my consent. I asked the IOC to intervene.
She said this was because she complained on social media about being entered into the 4x400 metre relay race, a further distance than she was used to. Kristina Timanovskaya has now been granted a humanitarian visa by Poland, the country's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs saying they will do whatever is necessary to help her continue her sporting career. She will fly there in the next few days. Her husband has also fled to Ukraine. Former Olympian Alexandra Harris-Semenya is in contact with her.
There is pressure being applied on her family. Her parents are being threatened. She is being forced to return back, otherwise there will be consequences for her family.
But that's not how state media in Belarus are reporting this.
There is a feeling that Timanovskaya went to the Tokyo Olympiad for the sake of this cheap farce and not a good performance. Completely shameful. It's the end of her career that she attempts to link with politics.
At a press briefing today, President Lukashenko swerved a question about the athlete. But before the Olympic Games, he was a bit more vocal, telling the national team if the results weren't good in Tokyo, then it's better not to return to Minsk. He's not allowed to attend these games, banned by the International Olympic Committee after athletes complained they faced intimidation following the wave of anti-government crackdowns last year. This also comes months after the unprecedented diversion of a passenger plane flying between two EU countries. Belarus authorities ordering the aircraft to the ground and removing journalist Roman Pratasevich. Hanna Lubakova knows him and says his life has been difficult since.
Now Lukashenko treats him as a trophy. He brings him to press conferences. He films video with him, with Roman, saying that he admires Lukashenko. He was wrong, with what he was writing about him before. Now Roman is under house arrest.
What do you think Lukashenko might do next?
So I think he would do anything to kind of show to the West that he's strong by escalating repressions, by provoking international scandals. And the only way is to stop him as soon as possible.
For Belarusians that have had to leave their country because of these protests, a troubling development this evening. The head of a Ukrainian-based organisation that helps them and their families get to safe countries has been reported missing. For Kristina Timanovskaya, she is now safe, but those who have spoken to her say the worry is her loved ones may not be.
The Belarus Olympic athlete who's now seeking asylum, claiming she fears for her safety. Joining me now is Franek Viachoka, who is senior advisor to the exiled Belarus opposition leader Svetlana Tikhanovskaya. Franek Viachoka, is there any aspect of Belarusian life that this president doesn't mess around with?
That's a very good question. Actually, in last 12 months, he made a lot of mess. He basically destroyed economy, financial institution. Most of the businesses don't work anymore. More than 500 companies were closed down. More than 70 NGOs disappeared. 20 human rights defending organizations were destroyed, and more than 200,000 people fled the country. And still, he is continuing this crackdown on the civil society. He's detaining more and more people, and I'm waking up each morning and I'm checking the names of the detainees, looking for my friends among them.
And what is so extraordinary is that this is a very minor business. I mean, she was being asked to run in a race she'd never run that particular distance before, simply because some of the other competitors hadn't taken drug tests. She was perfectly within her right to say, I'm not going to run. He says no, and poor woman, she's now exiled.
It's not about the competition itself, and it's not about the run itself. It's about the attitude, because any criticism towards the regime, towards representatives of the regime and to coaches is treated as the criticism of Lukashenko himself. And she publicly wrote on her Instagram, oh gosh, they messed up with my documents. And after that, the state propaganda attacked her, and people, perhaps KGB employees, took her to the airport to bring back to Minsk, where perhaps she could face repressions, interrogations at KGB, and perhaps prison. So this is not about the sports, it's about politics. Because if you want to survive in the Belarus nowadays, you have to be 100% loyal to only one man, President Lukashenko.
Now, if a regime attempted this in Western Europe, we would regard that as an act of unbelievable weakness. Illustrating in some way that one was so paranoid about what was going on that you felt you had to intervene. Is he paranoid, and is he in fact losing his grip?
Indeed, he's paranoid, and he's trying to eliminate all sources of possible unrest. He understands that any trigger, every word can spark the new wave of protest, new rallies, new marches. He's so afraid about himself, about his presidential post, about his family, that he's trying just to arrest everyone. Something similar happened to Belarus already in 1930s when Stalin organized the mass purges against civil population. Something similar is happening right now in Belarus. All the initiatives, organizations, all these bodies of the civil society are being destroyed. And this is not the sign of confidence. This is a sign of weakness, as you're saying. This is also a sign of insecurity of the regime. He is not in control of the situation anymore.
And very briefly, I mean, if the Russians gave up on him, that would be it, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. His power only kept on money, violence, and Kremlin support.
Well, Franek Viva-Chokha, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you.